Let's get back to China's increasing crackdown on crypto. It looks like they've gone absolute at this point, saying on the PBOC website they will ban all transactions, or that all crypto transactions are illegal.
We know that China has been taking steps in this direction, but this is incredibly...
Another big story coming out of China, the central bank's crackdown on cryptos, calling all crypto-related activities.
There is no way that you can look at this in the short term, Scott, and say that this is bullish. Of course it's bearish, which is why then we immediately slammed down to 40,000. On the other hand, China's been doing this since 2013. They have been pushing back against crypto in a big way. Obviously, we talked about the miners and basically shutting down mining operations, and then banks not being able to do business with crypto exchanges and so forth. But as Michael Saylor said, and I retweeted him when he said it, nothing has created more wealth in the past decade than the technologies that they're banning in China.
A crackdown on cryptocurrencies lead to a blanket ban on all crypto transactions and mining in China. Welcome to Crypto Revolution. In today's video, we share clips with details of this explosive and seemingly absolute ban on crypto in China. Yes, 10 agencies including the central bank, financial and securities and foreign exchange regulators work together to stop illegal cryptocurrency activity. This is not the first of their attempts to root out crypto in the country. The Chinese government agencies have repeatedly raised concerns that cryptocurrency speculation could disrupt the country's economic and financial order. In May, China banned financial institutions from providing services related to cryptocurrency transactions, and it has issued similar bans in 2013 and 2017. The recent statement is the most detailed and expansive yet from the country's main regulators, underscoring Beijing's commitment to suffocating the Chinese crypto market. According to Winston Ma, NYU Law School adjunct professor in the history of crypto market regulation in China, this is the most direct, most comprehensive regulatory framework involving the largest number of ministries. This move is parallel to the global cryptocurrency crackdown, as governments all over the world worry that privately operated digital currencies could undermine their control of the financial and monetary systems, increase systemic risk, and promote financial crime and hurt investors. Analysts say China also sees cryptocurrencies as a threat to its sovereign digital yuan. China's authoritarian crackdown on crypto, including Bitcoin, is a big opportunity for the US. It's also a reminder of our huge structural advantage over China. Beijing is so hostile to economic freedom, they cannot even tolerate their people participating in what is arguably the most exciting innovation in finance in decades. Economic liberty leads to faster growth and ultimately a higher standard of living for all. Watch till the end to know more about China's increasing crackdown on cryptocurrencies and see how this gravely affects Bitcoins and altcoins prices.
Let's get back to China's increasing crackdown on crypto. It looks like they've gone absolute at this point, saying on the PBOC website they will ban all transactions, or that all crypto transactions are illegal. We do see Bitcoin's price falling down below 44,000, down below 43,000 right now at 42,912. Let's get to Joanna Ossinger, our Asia crypto czar, for more on what this actually means. Joanna, it seems like from now on, everything that you want to do besides simply holding crypto, if you already have it, is illegal. Am I reading this correctly?
Hi, Matt. That's kind of what it looks like. But the question always with these things from China is, what does it mean in practice? You know, we've had the crackdowns before over the years, and people have been able to do workarounds and able to, say, keep exchanges going, even though they crack down on exchanges. There are a lot of people who still hold crypto. So you'll see, even for Bitcoin and the crypto complex generally, the drop that we've seen is actually not that big. So it tells you that it's not that much of a surprise, but it's definitely not being, it's definitely not increasing the prices either, right?
So, Joanna, why are they doing this now? They've been wanting to do it. Do they feel emboldened by everything else? Is it a distraction because of what's going on with Evergrande?
It might be that they're seeing, the SEC in the U.S. is cracking down on things as well. They are seeing other regulators taking steps. But, China does things when it does them, right? So it's a little bit hard to tell exactly. It could be that they're concerned about something with Evergrande, but it could just be that they're looking at crypto overall and saying, this is the time when we want to take this step, because they've been going at it, since before Evergrande was really getting people's attention.
Yeah, is there concern, by the way, that retail investors are going to get burned speculating in this asset, or is there concern that wealthy Chinese people are going to use it to move wealth offshore?
There's probably some of both in there. And again, I don't have firsthand knowledge of this, but there is speculation that it's both of these things. And actually, one thing to watch with this would be Tether, which is seen as key in terms of flows into crypto from China. And recently, I was looking at prices. It's about 99.1 cents, and it's usually $1. So that will be interesting.
We know that China has been taking steps in this direction, but this is incredibly dramatic. I mean, what is your take on this? What does this mean for even a company like Falcon X?
Sure. So, I think China has been banning cryptocurrency for a number of years now. First in 2013, 2017. This is not the first time they've done so this year. And for an authoritarian regime that's trying to promote their digital yuan, and keeping in mind that the China national holiday is next week, their crackdown on crypto is what I would really align with Senator Pat Toomey, a big opportunity for the United States and a reminder of our structural advantage over China. In terms of, just what we've seen historically, to what Ed mentioned, this definitely wasn't as large of a move as we've seen, prior times in market movements. We see a red candlestick down and panic initially, followed by a quick buyback and market recovery for BTC, largely buy side, led by Asia-based hedge funds, and for U.S. Institutions across a number of personas. And for ETH, we're seeing a much larger hit with a much slower buyback driven by proprietary funds.
Who are the winners and losers here? And if you could get into some coins specifically, that would certainly help us better understand the situation.
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. I think what we were seeing, it was, a slower last 2 months historically for us on the volume side. We saw 7 times more volume today than we had seen across, a number of weeks where we had a lot of conferences, both in traditional finance and cryptocurrency. Layer ones are definitely top of mind. I know you have spoken, about layer ones historically in the past, Ethereum, but also things like Avalanche, Solana, Atom, as well as Luna, in addition to Bitcoin, and then some tokens outside of that, primarily looking at renewed interest in some of the play-to-earn tokens like a YGG or an Axie Infinity.
Obviously this is happening in Asia, which used to be sort of the center of crypto innovation. We're preparing for tougher regulation here in the United States. We're preparing for tougher regulation on crypto in Europe. If that's the case and you see a broad-based crackdown, then where do you think the growth is going to come from?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think, if we use just China mining as an example of this, we saw China ban mining, and we actually saw a number of those miners come to the United States. So hash rate is almost 70% of what it was prior to the ban. So we've almost had a full comeback from that. And a lot of the miners today are in the US. And so we really saw that innovation come to the United States. And again, going back to that, really an opportunity for the US to show that we're at the forefront of working with this industry to spark innovation. I think across the board, everyone's trying to protect consumers. That is top of mind for any company in this space. How do we do so without stifling innovation?
Now to the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies taking a tumble after the People's Bank of China said all crypto transactions in the country are illegal. Beijing has cracked down sharply on crypto this year. It's banned banks from providing crypto-related services. It's even tamped down on mining operations. Is all of this a long-term headwind for Bitcoin or a buying opportunity? And what if it happens here? Joining me now are Emily Parker, CoinDesk Managing Director of International Content, and Meltem Demir's CoinShares Chief Strategy Officer. Emily, I'm sorry, but unless you've got the blue background, you're throwing me for a loop here.
I know, I'm trying to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, aren't we all? So listen, many people are pointing out that every time China has cracked down on crypto, going back to 2013, it's been a buying opportunity. Is this time different?
Well, I think what's really interesting about this crackdown is that in the past, if you had headlines like this coming from China, you would wake up to a total collapse in the Bitcoin market. And that's actually not what happened. Yes, Bitcoin fell, but on the scale of Bitcoin price crashes, this isn't even that dramatic. In fact, according to the CoinDesk XPX price index, Bitcoin dipped below $40,000 earlier this week. That's lower than what we woke up to this morning. So, I think what we're starting to see is that the Bitcoin market is getting a little bit more resistant to shocks from China, which used to really, really create shockwaves all over the global market.
And Meltem, the really interesting thing to me is the geopolitics of this all of a sudden, where people are talking about how being anti-China is pro-crypto or pro-crypto. But you know what I'm saying? There's almost this idea. And in fact, I think Senator Toomey tweeted something like this just a short while ago, where he basically says this is a strategic advantage for the U.S. is the best thing that could happen for crypto bulls, China's crackdown, because it makes those in the U.S. who might otherwise want to police this industry more heavily think that perhaps it could be a long-term strategic advantage to have the intellectual capital here.
I would love to believe that, but look, Washington, D.C. has been increasingly aggressive in its stance towards cryptocurrencies. We've seen this not only from the SEC, but from certain members of Congress as well. I think at the end of the day, what this comes down to is China banning crypto many, many times. They've been doing this every year since 2013. You can only ban something once. And if you have to ban it repeated times, it's probably because banning it is impossible. Again, this to me highlights the strength of Bitcoin as a monetary system. Bitcoin is the world's first and largest peer-to-peer electronic digital money system. And the fact that it can't be shut down or curtailed by the CCP, I think, is very strong evidence that Bitcoin will continue to proliferate.
Well, Jim is right. There is no way that you can look at this in the short term, Scott, and say that this is bullish. Of course it's bearish, which is why then we immediately slammed down to 40,000. On the other hand, China's been doing this since 2013. They have been pushing back against crypto in a big way. Obviously, we talked about the miners and basically shutting down mining operations, and then banks not being able to do business with crypto exchanges and so forth. But as Michael Saylor said, and I retweeted him when he said it, nothing has created more wealth in the past decade than the technologies that they're banning in China. That's a fact. Then you take Jordan Freed, a friend of mine who was over there with Hedera, and this guy owns NFT.com and a whole bunch of other crypto-related sites, and he was saying China is basically handing the United States and every other country a gift on a silver platter. Because if China is not involved here with the rest of the world embracing this, then they're going to be left behind, Scott. So it's not just a question of, will they participate? It's a question of they won't be involved in the technologies. Maybe they'll try to do a digital renminbi, which no one will trust, of course, because these Bitcoin in particular, Scott, gathers its value by its scarcity. If you can just print more of something, that's why people jumped over to crypto and Bitcoin in particular, rather than embracing things like the US dollar. So short term, yes, volatility. The volatility is back to a little over 4%, which means 64% in terms of the VIX that you and I talk about, Scott. That's pretty high. But our sentiment indicators, because we do that over at Market Rebellion, we track sentiment. And the sentiment indicators are that outside of China, most people are viewing this as an opportunity, not as, run around and just sell everything. So we tested back down to 40. We bounced. I'd say overall that's good, Scott.
These experts truly have valid points. The fact that China has been repeatedly trying to ban crypto and failing goes to show the strength of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies as a monetary system. Do you agree that, as shared on CNBC, though this may be bearish short term, this can actually be an opportunity from everyone else outside of China? Let us know what you think in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. That is it for our video for today. If you enjoyed watching this, do give it a like and subscribe to the channel for more crypto news. Till the next video, this is Crypto Revolution.